What if everybody started speaking the same language overnight? When we imagine what it would be like if everyone spoke the same language, we usually picture a world of perfect communication and understanding. No more language barriers, no more miscommunication. Everyone can talk to each other without any difficulty, but is that really what would happen? Or are there other consequences that we haven't thought of? One of the first things that would happen is that all of the languages that currently exist would cease to exist. This might sound like a good thing, but it actually has a lot of negative consequences. Currently, it is difficult to spread propaganda and control people because you need to know their language in order to do that effectively. But if everyone started speaking the same language, then it would be much easier to do. This would lead to a lot of manipulation and exploitation because there would be no way to protect yourself from it. That's because if everyone started speaking the same language, then no one would know those other languages anymore. Currently, if you want to commit a crime, you need to be careful to avoid being understood. Currently, learning another language is one of the best ways to learn about another culture. Currently, learning another language is often the first step towards making friends with people from other cultures. But if everyone started speaking the same language, then learning other languages would be pointless. This would lead to a lack of diversity and understanding in our social interactions because people would only ever interact with people who speak the dominant language. Currently, each language offers a unique way of experiencing the world. The negative consequences far outweigh any potential benefits. We should appreciate the diversity of languages that exist in our world and work to preserve them rather than trying to eliminate them. But if everyone started speaking the same language, then experiencing the world in different ways would be impossible. After all, understanding another human being is a rare occurrence, especially when you consider how many people live in the world today. So, if we were to wake up and understand everyone and every single person understood us, it would be quite shocking. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching and see you next time. After all, we would all be part of the same community. Each of us would have so much to share with the rest of the world. Each of us has something unique to offer the world. We have different perspectives, experiences, and knowledge. We would be able to learn so much from each other if we were all able to communicate freely. We could learn about different ways of doing things. We could learn about different cultures and customs. We could learn about different ideas and philosophies. We would be able to learn about different cultures and perspectives. We would be able to share stories and experiences. There would be times when we didn't understand each other. There would be times when we couldn't agree on things. There would be times when we offended each other. But these are all part of the human experience. And if we were all able to communicate freely, we would be able to overcome these challenges. We would be able to learn from our mistakes and grow as a species. We would be able to debate and discuss different topics. It would be a chance to learn, to grow, and to connect with others in a way that we never have before. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching and see you next time. It would be a chance to build relationships, to share stories, and to learn about different cultures and perspectives. It would be a chance to become closer as a species. There would be so much to talk about, in fact, that it would be hard to know where to start. We would all be able to share our thoughts and ideas freely without the fear of not being understood. We would all be able to build relationships with people from all over the world. This would lead to a lack of creativity and innovation because new ideas and perspectives would not be able to emerge. After all, the ability to understand someone is more than just hearing their words and understanding their words. After all, we would never have to worry about a language barrier again. We would be able to communicate with anyone, no matter where they were from or what language they spoke. There would be no more miscommunication because we would all be speaking the same language. It's also the ability to understand their body language, their facial expressions, and their intent. So even if we did wake up and everyone understood us, it would take a while to sink in. But if everyone started speaking the same language, then learning other languages would be pointless. Currently, being able to speak another language is an attractive quality that can help you find a partner. But if everyone started speaking the same language, then being able to speak other languages would be pointless. This would lead to a lack of diversity in our romantic partners because people would only ever date people who speak the dominant language. This would lead to a lack of understanding and respect between different cultures because people would not be able to learn about each other as cultures. Currently, it is difficult to invade another country because you need to know their language in order to effectively communicate with them. Currently, if you know multiple languages, it is a valuable asset that can help you get a job. Currently, if you want to travel to another country, you need to know their language in order to get around. Currently, many people connect with their ancestors through their language and culture. But if everyone started speaking the same language, then connecting with our ancestors would be impossible. This would lead to a loss of identity and heritage because people would not be able to connect with their ancestors. But if everyone started speaking the same language, then it would be much easier to do. This would lead to an increase in tourism and international travel because it would be much easier to do. But if everyone started speaking the same language, then knowing other languages would be useless. This would lead to a lot of unemployment because businesses would only hire people who know the dominant language. But if everyone started speaking the same language, then it would be much easier to do. This would lead to a lot of war and violence because there would be no way to prevent it. But if everyone started speaking the same language, then it would be much easier to commit crimes. This would lead to an increase in crime rates because there would be no way to prevent it. All of the knowledge that has been accumulated about those languages would be lost, and all of the books and other materials that have been written in those languages would become unreadable. This would lead to a massive loss of knowledge and culture. For example, if everyone started speaking the same language, then all of the languages that currently exist would become extinct. This includes jobs such as translator, interpreter, and foreign language teacher. This would lead to a lot of unemployment and economic hardship for the people who currently hold these jobs. And this includes the many languages that are endangered already. Even if that were the case, there are still other problems that would arise if everyone started speaking the same language. For example, if everyone started speaking the same language, then there would be no way to communicate privately. Currently, if you want to have a private conversation, you can simply speak in a language that the other person doesn't understand. But if everyone started speaking the same language, then there would be no way to do that. Every conversation would be overheard by everyone else. This would lead to a lot of distrust and paranoia because you would never know if someone was talking about you behind your back. So one of the first things that would happen is that a lot of linguistic diversity would be lost. And with it, a lot of cultural diversity would also be lost because language is so closely tied to culture. But even if we could somehow preserve all of the different languages that currently exist, they wouldn't be of much use if everyone started speaking the same language. In addition to this, if everyone started speaking the same language, then all of the jobs that require knowledge of more than one language would disappear. So what if we could somehow preserve all of the languages that currently exist and all of the knowledge that has been accumulated about those languages? Another problem that would arise if everyone started speaking the same language is that it would be much easier to spread propaganda and control people. If everyone started speaking the same language, then it would also be much easier to commit crimes. Another problem that would arise if everyone started speaking the same language is that it would be much easier to invade other countries. If everyone started speaking the same language, then it would also be much harder to get a job. If everyone started speaking the same language, then it would also be much harder to travel. If everyone started speaking the same language, then it would also be much harder to learn about other cultures. If everyone started speaking the same language, then it would also be much harder to make friends with people from other cultures. If everyone started speaking the same language, then it would also be much harder to find a partner. If everyone started speaking the same language, then it would also be much harder to connect with our ancestors. If everyone started speaking the same language, then it would also be much harder to experience the world. In conclusion, while it may seem like a nice idea at first, it would actually be very detrimental to have everyone speak the same language. So what do you think? Is it really worth it to have everyone speak the same language? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. In the event that everyone in the world wakes up tomorrow morning and realizes that they can all understand each other, there would likely be some degree of panic. It would take some time to realize what had happened. Once we realized what had happened, though, there would likely be a sense of wonder and excitement. There would also be a sense of unity and togetherness. In fact, there would be so much to talk about. We would also be able to learn from each other. Of course, there would be some challenges along the way. So, what would it be like if everybody in the world could understand each other? It would be amazing. Do you agree? What do you think it would be like if everybody in the world could understand each other? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.